teams ranked in the top 20 in the country. Mac McClung, the Georgetown transfer, just capped off a three-point play underway here at Hilton Coliseum. Ted Emmerich, King McClure, our entire crew. Iowa State searching for its first Big 12 win of the season. Solomon Young, another post touch. It seems to be part of the game plan early. Feed Young inside to go against that front line of Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, when you really look at Texas Tech's roster, they really only have two bigs, in Santos Silver and Tyreek Smith. So if you get one of them in foul trouble, then Tyreek Smith is a freshman. So go inside, go into the interior, wear it down, then they're playing small ball.
Iowa State has been competitive in Big 12 play, just have not broken through. Young has his second basket to give the Cyclones the lead.
Solomon Young is an excellent post-up player. Every time he touches the ball in the paint, he averages 1.1 points per possession.
Yeah, that's well above the average you look across the country. Kyler Edwards pulls the trigger. Bolton comes down with it. A leader for Iowa State in points, assists, and steals. Kind of playing out of position this year. The new lead guard for Iowa State after Tyrese Halliburton jumped to the NBA.
Yeah, he has to do it this year. I mean, he has nobody else. He is that point guard. And I think that's one of the reasons why they struggle with turnovers. They don't have that many playmakers on their roster.
McClung lost it going up. Tyreek Smith saves it for Texas Tech. McClung is Texas Tech's leading scorer at 15 per game at the three-point play. He's got all 5 for the Red Raiders.
Like McClung is a bucket getter. He's been doing that since high school days when he was a YouTube sensation. The kid can get buckets, and he gets buckets at an elite rate.
Broke Allen Iverson's Virginia State record for scoring, almost 3,000 points out of Gate City, Virginia. Trey Jackson fouled on his way to the basket. And that'll be on freshman Micah Peavy of Texas Tech. Yeah, from McClung, King, the deal that Chris Beard was saying to us earlier today, he brought his talent to Lubbock, but not his ego. You would think on paper, hey, how is this going to fit a guy who has been wired to score since the high school level? He's still adjusting, and Texas Tech is adjusting to him.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing when you look at him, he has so many accolades. I mean, anytime Drake hits you up to get your jersey, your high school jersey, you know, you got to be feeling like you're that dude. So when he came to Texas Tech, a lot of people were wondering, hey, is he going to be able to be selfless and put his ego to the side? And Coach Beard said he was able to do that from the jump. Nobody questioned his talent. The biggest thing was his ego, and he's completely selfless.
Terrence Shannon coming off the bench once again. Missed it, but Tyreek Smith does not. The putback slam.
Hey, Tyreek Smith brings energy to the game every time he steps on the court, and I think he has a bright future for Texas Tech.
Young, he has just about perfected that hook shot for Iowa State. He's got all 6 for the Cyclones. Now for Texas Tech, Namari Burnett, their first ever McDonald's All-American, left the program a couple of days ago. Might mean more minutes for guys like Tyreek Smith. Jamarius Burton offline. Shannon chases it down. McCullough with the tip in for Texas Tech. He's the X factor for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I know one thing. Iowa State better box out. That's 2 points in a row due to non-boxing out tip-ins. They better box out.
Johnson, the high floater, no, got it back, and he guides it in. Javen Johnson coming off the 21-point outing against Texas on Tuesday at career high. Burton, the Wichita State transfer. McCullough off the screen by Smith, making his move against Johnson, flips it up, and he draws the foul. And brings us to our first official timeout. Texas Tech knows how to play above the rim, King.
Tyreek Smith. I just said that Cyclones better block out, because if not, they will be seeing this time and time again.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Get it done. Here in Ames, Iowa, One of the more rowdier venues in college basketball. A little quieter this season during the pandemic. Capacity just 10% of the normal crowd, about 1,300 on hand. Iowa State looking for its first Big 12 win of the year. Down by a point to Texas Tech. Ted Emmerich, King McClure, our entire crew. Solomon Young has 6 of the 8 points for Iowa State. The fifth-year senior, offensively as talented as any big in the league.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to scoring the ball down low, I can't think of another big in the Big 12 who can score like him. I mean, he's like I said, he averages 1.1 points per possession. I mean, every time he touches the ball on the block, he's at least coming away with 1 point. I mean, he scores at an elite rate, and he's very talented, and he's one of the best bigs. Honestly, might be one of the most underrated bigs in the conference.
Kevin McCullough is at the line for Texas Tech. The redshirt sophomore from San Antonio, Texas, has battled injuries in his brief career so far. This is his 4th game of the season, coming off a high ankle sprain. Johnson hit the side of the backboard for Iowa State. Edwards is running. Finding McCullough. Now, McCullough broke his leg in high school, was slow coming back from that, aggravated it last year, then the high ankle sprain. It's been one thing after another, but Chris Beard loves that he's on the court now.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love it, because anytime a kid can persevere through so much adversity and still play and still come out here and give his all, you gotta respect him.
Trey Jackson was battling injury earlier this season. Missed that shot. He is a shot maker for the most part for Iowa State, in addition to being their best on-ball defender. From the corner, Jamarius Burton with the 3. And now a steal by McCullough. Driving against Johnson, he lays it home. And a timeout for Iowa State. Defense quickly turning into offense for Texas Tech. With a mini 8-0 burst to grab a 15-8 lead over Iowa State. Here's what we're talking about: defense converting into offense.
Yeah, this is just bad. I mean, you're an upperclassman, you're point guard. You turn the ball over, one pass, turnover. That can't happen. If you want to win ball games, you must take care of the basketball, especially being the primary ball handler. Everybody else can turn the ball over, but you can't, because you're the primary ball handler. He has to be better than that.
King, this is what Texas Tech does. You see the numbers this season in the Big 12. This is the culture that Chris Beard has installed. Yeah,
I mean, when I played Texas Tech and Chris Beard got there, he kind of changed the defense of everybody. I mean, you see Baylor does it now. They force everything to the side, do not let you get to the middle, because when you get to the middle, bad things happen.
Bolton coming off that turnover with the bucket for Iowa State. 7-point game. Here's Mac McClung trying to drive against Jackson. Burton against Bolton. Nicely done in the lane. Jamarius Burton was part of that exodus for Wichita State from last year. Several players leaving that program, landing in Texas Tech, and gives the Red Raiders good depth off the bench.
Man, that was a crazy story at Wichita State with Greg Marshall.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a long 2. Solomon Young showing off his range.
He can do it. And I think the next step for him is stepping out and shooting the 3, which he doesn't really do much. But he can shoot the mid-range jumper and face up. Don't get it twisted.
Marcus Santos Silva going to work against Young. And he walked. So a turnover by Texas Tech.
That was a perfect example right there of scouting report. Marcus Santos Silva is a left-handed player, loves to shoot over his right shoulder. Solomon Young, being the old veteran, took away that from him. He had nothing to do, travel. Great example of scouting report.
Now Young wants it on the offensive end. Johnson with the jab. Left it short over McCullough. Peavy gives it up. McClung drains the three. For Mac McClung, it's not all about the highlights at the rim. He can also shoot it from deep.
He can. He hasn't really shot it great this year, but I think he's a better shooter than what the numbers show. They show he's only shooting 31% from the three. But I think he can shoot better than that. I think he's about a 38 to 40% three-point shooter.
Young? Oh, that's money for him. In the lane, too easy, right?
Way too easy.
McCullough, jump stop, no. Oh, and it got wedged. It'll be Texas Tech ball with the arrow and a timeout here in Ames.
Hey, the numbers might not show it, but this kid can fill it up. Doesn't matter where it is, he is an elite bucket getter, Mac McClung.
King McClure, our entire crew. It's an 8-point lead for Texas Tech. I am riding with the Slim Reaper, Heisman winner Devontae Smith on Monday night. King, who you got?
Of course, I'm taking Ohio State. Justin Fields, what he did to Clemson, he will do against Alabama.
We're waving pennants. I feel like a little kid. I don't think I've ever waved a pennant before.
Hey, this is my first time ever doing this.
Alabama, Ohio State Monday night, of course, on ESPN. We cannot wait for that. But here in Ames, Texas Tech and Iowa State, Big 12 battle. Texas Tech trying to move above 500 in conference play. They have taken control just a little bit over the last few minutes. Here's Kyler Edwards falling away against the smaller Tyler Harris. If Edwards can start making that, watch out.
Man, I think Kyler Edwards is the key to this team moving forward. I think he has a level that we haven't seen yet. My senior year, his freshman year, when I played against him, I saw how talented this kid was, and I think that if he can turn it up and get to that level, it will take this Texas Tech team from number 18 to top 10.
Yeah, the word Chris Beard continues to use is consistency for Edwards, and that has not been there in his game as Iowa State gets a second crack at it. Scoreless against Kansas last month, 0 for 9 from the floor in 37 minutes. Johnson a swish, that's a three for Iowa State.
I mean, that's unacceptable. When you're the leader of this team, scoring isn't everything, but you play 37 minutes. You have to bring something to the table. 37 minutes, you're the upperclassman, you've been there, you played on a national championship team. Come on now, you got to bring something. But I think that he's the key. Once he takes that next step, that will lead Texas Tech to the next level. Oh, you got to get it to him right there.
Peavy with 5 to shoot. The freshman banks it home. Peavy was looking for an outlet, and instead he put it in.
Hey, sometimes it ends up like that, Ted.
Now, Peavy is trying to find himself. Guy was a top 40 recruit in the country, according to ESPN, out of Duncanville High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Doesn't really have the jumper right now, but he is contributing early on.
Hey, shout out Dallas, Texas. Duncanville, Texas, to be exact. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, he's trying to find his game. I mean, he's athletic. He's an athletic wing who can play, who's versatile on the defense. I think he has a bright future.
Wow, Johnson again from distance, this time at the end of the shot clock. McClung racing in. He puts it home with the foul.
That's just too easy. Javen Johnson, the ability to make shots, hand in the face, it doesn't matter. 3 feet back, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to hit.
Johnson with 17 against Baylor, 21, a career high against Texas on Tuesday. And for Johnson, it helps. He's one of those rare guys that actually had to sit out after transferring. He sat out last year. He was with the program, practiced all year, and now on the court this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that sit-out period, it teaches you a lot. You grow a lot mentally because you see the ups and the downs. You see Tyrese Halliburton, what the team was before, and you saw the team afterwards. I mean, you learn so much, and it really helps your mental state because you're in the film room learning. You don't have to just get rushed back on the court. You could take your time and really just learn the system.
8 on the timer. Jalen Coleman lands, has been quiet so far, had to give it up. Johnson again at the end of the shot clock. Oh, in and out. Here's McClung. Shannon the kick. Edwards. A triple. Kyler Edwards knocks it down. Young in the high post this time. Trying to back in against Santos Silva. It's off the mark. Good defense by Santos Silva.
That's great defense by Santos Silva, but when Young catches the ball, there has to be movement. They have to move so they create lanes, create space for my guy to work in the post.
Mac McClung drains the shot from the outside. A long two is what the call was on the floor, but they will look at it. So 33-20, Texas Tech the lead. And the whistle blows. Santos Silva can't believe it. Foul is called. Well, tonight on ESPN, full day of college basketball continuing with the rivalry renewed. Georgetown and Syracuse at 7 Eastern, followed by UCLA and Arizona in Tucson. King, I know you have good memories. A couple of years ago in the NCAA tournament, the first round, a win by Baylor over Syracuse. You had 3 threes against that Syracuse zone.
And I was able to do a little something. The 2-3 zone, famous by Jim Boeheim, allowed shooters to shoot, and we were able to get hot. Nobody expected us to win that game, by the way.
Really? It was an 8-9 game. Nobody was giving you a shot?
Nobody. I think we might have had a 90, I think they had a 91% chance to win, if I can remember right.
Who said that?
Literally everybody.
Really?
Everybody. You know when you pull up on the game?
Yeah.
And the numbers and the odds to win? Yeah, that's what ESPN had us at.
Wow. Oh, not that you remember that or anything. Texas Tech up 13. Dallin, John, thanks so much. Texas Tech shooting a blistering 67% thus far. We asked Chris Beard to shoot around. How do you feel about your team offensively so far? We know what you do defensively. He said, work in progress. It's like his favorite phrase this season about the team overall, but especially the offense. They've been awfully efficient today.
Yeah, they've been knocking down shots. I mean, on the flip side, when we talked to Coach Prone, he said defense is what's kept them in a lot of these games, and their offense is what's made them lose. But tonight, they're not playing offense or defense right now.
Edwards drops it in, and one. The efficiency continues for Texas Tech. Kyler Edwards, who was removed from the starting lineup after putting up the offer against Kansas, came off the bench 3 games, played starters minutes, but was reinserted to the starting lineup on Tuesday against K-State, starting again today, and giving Texas Tech a little bit of punch. Now the steal. Here's Terrence Shannon. McCullough on the drive against the freshman Jaden Walker. And he's fouled. For Walker, that's number 2.
We talked about it earlier a little bit, but right there, Rasheed Bolden just has to be better. I mean, not even one pass as a point guard. You can't have those type of turnovers. You know, those type of turnovers lead to bad things on the other end. I mean, I'd rather have a dead ball turnover than a live ball turnover. He has to be able to take care of the ball better. It's a must that this team wants to win any games in the 12.
And Bolton is the one player for Iowa State who has a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. Steve Prohm brought that up to us this morning. It's interesting, right? Under Iowa State, they always play freely. Anyone can bring it up. But even Prohm has acknowledged we might have to dial that back a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things that, as a player, when you come to Iowa State and play against the Iowa State team, they play so free. It doesn't matter what shot they take. You might think it's a bad shot, but to them, they're shooting it. Like when they had Taylor Horton-Tucker, they had Lindell Wigginton, Mario Shayok. Like those dudes were coming down pulling. Didn't matter from where. And that's what's the hardest thing about guarding them, because they play with so much freedom. But this year's team, Coach Prohm said they might not have the same capabilities to do that.
Javen Johnson is trying to keep Iowa State alive. Once again, playing well against high-level competition. Johnson in double figures with 10. Knocked out of bounds, whistle blows.
Javen Johnson does not want to go out sad. He's been killing, averaging 19 points in the last 2, trying to keep it up against this Texas Tech team.
He's got 10. Solomon Young has 10. And the only other Cyclone to score is Rasheer Bolton.
I mean, the only reason why I'm so, nitpicky about Rasheer Bolton is because I think the kid is really talented. I think the kid is very, very good. And I think he's one of the most underappreciated players in the Big 12. So that's why I say he has to be better if he wants to lead this team to any type of victories.
Now Bolton picking up the foul. He's actually the only player in the country averaging at least 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. He's just got to cut down on those turnovers.
The kid is good. I mean, you can't deny that. Every coach says it. Every coach says that when they scout this team, Rasheer Bolton makes the team go. He's the engine. He just has to step up and rise up to that occasion.
Johnson flips it out. Darlington Dubois, the freshman, that's good with a foul. Dubois, the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, big football weekend on ESPN and ABC, of course, part of Super Wild Card Weekend. The Ravens take on Derrick Henry and the Titans, who ran all over Baltimore last year in the playoffs. That's on ESPN and ABC. And then, of course, the College Football Playoff National Championship, Alabama and Ohio State, Monday night on ESPN. Watch out for the Derrick Henry stiff arm.
Oh, my gosh. That's something I would never, ever want to go up against.
He wants to end your career.
End your career, embarrass you, put you on top 10 plays. He is different.
McCullough off the mark. Rebound collected by Solomon Young in Iowa State. Cyclones just trying to bite into this deficit a little bit before the break.
Good pass.
Coleman lands, gives it up. Dubois. The floater doesn't drop this time. Chris Beard is yelling out motion, motion from the sideline. Shannon in way too deep. He puts it home.
That motion offense is one of the hardest offenses to guard because there's no rhyme or reason behind it. It's literally Texas Tech, move. Pass the ball and move. So you'll get hit with a million down screens. You'll get hit with cross screens. You'll get hit with anything. There's just constant movement. And that's what makes it so hard because you can't scout for it. They just do whatever they want to do.
Foul called on the floor. Back to that play and back to Texas Tech offensively.
Hey, you want to know why he's on draft boards? Because he is tough. Doesn't let anything get in his way. Can finish. Talented, versatile. Terrence Shannon will be a force to reckon with this year.
And again, to reset, he volunteered on Tuesday to come off the bench against Kansas State. Doing it again today. He's their second leading scorer. Bolton drains the jumper for Iowa State. And Chris Beard says, for a program that identifies with unselfishness so much, that's what they want the culture to be about. That speaks volumes about Terrence Shannon willing to come off the bench to help his team.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game right here, and he said, I just wanted my teammates to be comfortable because I knew mentally I could handle it, but I don't know if my teammates could handle it. And right there, it says he's all about the team. He's team first. So when you look at NBA drafts and teams, who doesn't want a guy like this? I mean, I think that right there, that little piece right there of him voluntarily coming off the bench will rise his draft stock because you're selfless. You care more about others than you do yourself, and that's a testament to who he is. Shout out to his parents because they raised, a great kid.
And you could read between the lines a little bit. It was never said, but Shannon giving up his spot as Dubois throws it down. Darlington Dubois has a bright future at Iowa State.
Oh, my. I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think Texas Tech was either. McClung the wraparound. Edwards out to Shannon, fumbled it. Shannon way off. Dubar did not play Tuesday night in the loss to Texas. He finds Jalen Coleman lands. That's a 2? No. Rebound corralled by Shannon. Edwards catch and shoot. That's good. A 3. Shannon finding Edwards for the triple, and the lead continues to grow.
This is good for Kyler Edwards. This is a confidence game. He needs this to keep going.
I was going to say, you can read between the lines a little bit, and Edwards is the guy who moved back into the starting lineup when Shannon volunteered to come off the bench.
Hey, like I said, it talks a lot about Terrence Shannon, because he knew Kyler Edwards probably couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Timeout here in Ames. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Back to Ted and King.
Dal and John, thanks so much. Yeah, when you're shooting 63% from the floor, Iowa State hasn't turned it over that much. Just 3 of them, all by Rasheer Bolton. Jalen Coleman lands, misses from the outside. Coleman lands, still scoreless for Iowa State, the second best three-point shooter in the Big 12.
Yeah, you either got to make shots or you got to get stops, but you cannot do both.
I like it. Peavy draws the foul for Texas Tech. Well, for Chris Beard, Nimari Burnett left the program on Thursday. Highest ranked recruit in Texas Tech history. First McDonald's All-American to go to Lubbock. Now, he wasn't doing all that much on the court. 5 points, 2 rebounds per game in 18 minutes a night. But well, it's obviously a story for Texas Tech to lose a recruit of that caliber midway through his freshman season.
I mean, a McDonald's All-American almost. I think he was a McDonald's All-American.
He was,
McDonald's
yes.
All-American, top 25 in the country. I mean, I guess he expected to come in there and play 30 minutes a game. Well, it's not how it works if you're not producing. You're playing with other talented players, especially at a program like Texas Tech. So what do you expect? I mean, you got to produce in order to get those minutes. And unfortunately, that's the society we live in. If you're not seeing the results you want, you leave. And kids, you know, they find other ways to get out of situations, get out of tough situations instead of fighting their way through. But I wish him all the success.
I mean, is that tough? Is there a conversation that happens? I mean, you were a top 40 recruit going to Baylor. Is there a conversation that happens with the coach? Hey, you're going to play this much. You have the opportunity to earn this playing time if you show something in practice and in games. Is there a transparency involved? As Peavy, a freshman and a top 40 recruit himself, with the bucket?
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on the coach. I mean, I feel like Coach Beard, he just doesn't come across to me as a dude who's going to BS you and give you a whole bunch of fluff. I think Coach Beard is going to keep it real with you at all times. So I don't think Chris Beard came in there and promised him anything. I mean, he's playing with Kyler Edwards Jr., who played on the national championship team, and Mac McClung. Come on now. You're playing with a stacked backcourt. You can't come in there and expect to play 30 minutes a game.
Timeout called after the hustle play for Texas Tech. You know, and Beard was asked, is this going to affect recruiting moving forward? Will you continue to go after guys that are McDonald's All-Americans, top 50 recruits in the country? He said, absolutely not. This is the program that he's built.
Yeah.
I mean, he has elevated the Red Raiders to heights never before seen. The Elite Eight, the national championship game in back-to-back years. They were going to be an NCAA tournament team again last year before the big dance was canceled. So, and in fact, they actually have an ESPN top 50 recruit already signed for next year, Jalen Tyson from the DFW area.
Hey, Jalen Tyson, I was working out with him last week. That kid right there is good. All Red Raider fans, please be aware of the name Jalen Tyson. I promise you, I don't want to put too many high expectations on this kid, but he's going to come in next year ready. I mean, the kid literally worked out with me. We did a hard workout, 30-minute hard workout, right? Like strength conditioning. Then leaves and goes to practice. Like, well, what type of high school kid does that at his age? I wasn't doing that. So this kid will be ready, but Texas Tech, Coach Beard has elevated this program to the heights of You know, things that nobody expected from this program. Because my freshman year, we would go to Texas Tech and almost be like a joke.
Wow.
Now you go to Texas Tech, it's one of the hardest places to play in the conference.
Kyler Edwards is no joke. The three-pointer from the corner. Edwards with 16 in the first half. Iowa State gives it up. Coleman lands. Up top, Shannon from Edwards. It is all Texas Tech here in Ames.
And Texas Tech came to play. I mean, we kind of saw it in the shoot-arounds this morning. 8:30 in the morning, Texas Tech was ready, yelling, loud, enthusiastic, ready to play. Iowa State shoot-around and chill, laid back. I mean, I don't know if that really plays a role into it, but psychologically it might.
Bolton is fouled. Well, coming up tonight on ESPN, Georgetown and Syracuse. No longer conference rivals, but trust me, the rivalry is still on. That's 7 Eastern, followed by a matchup in the Pac-12. UCLA 4-0 in conference play. Big overtime win over Arizona State on Thursday. They take on Arizona on the road tonight at 9 Eastern. Yeah, with Texas Tech shoot-around, you brought it up. 8:30 in the morning. Chris Beard was as intense as ever. And by the way, a guy I don't think I've ever seen another coach do push-ups with his team after one part of the team loses a shooting competition or whatever drill they're going through. That's just part of the culture that he has put in place.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if you watch that shoot-around, it's so organized. It's so run to everything. Literally, they were doing layups. They're doing layup drills. And two guys missed a layup, and Chris Beard calls everybody in the middle and starts yelling, going off. And this is about 8:45 in the morning. Most people aren't even up right now. And he's yelling, getting into them, saying, y'all not ready to play? And like, wow, like, I mean, that makes a difference. That's the culture that Texas Tech has.
I would love to see Coach K do push-ups with his team at Duke.
Mind you, I'm not trying to clown Chris Beard, but
I know.
He wasn't doing full push-ups. He was doing the halfway, just let me get my arm down a little bit. Like, it wasn't a full push-up. But he tried. He went out there and tried. I mean, it says a lot.
Shot clock turned off. McClung the bump. Out to McCullough, three-pointer. Off the mark. McCullough was looking for his first three of the season. One of the few shots that did not go in the first half for Texas Tech, shooting 61% from the field, and it's a 24-point lead. To the studio for the E-Trade halftime report, here's Dallin and John. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN, part of Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Texas Tech, number 18 in the country, putting its foot down in the first half against Iowa State here in Ames, a 24-point lead. Ted Emmerich, former Baylor Bear King McClure with you. Kyler Edwards, guy who struggled a few weeks ago, scoreless against Kansas, remember, was benched. He was awfully efficient in the first half.
Hey, I keep saying it. Coach Beard says, I mean, consistency is key. They need him to do this every single game. Once he's able to do that, this Texas Tech team will go up to another level.
Edwards with 16 points on 5 of 6 shooting. He nailed 3 threes. Mac McClung was also 5 of 6 from the floor. Texas Tech as a whole, 61% from the field. Iowa State shot 43%. Well, for Iowa State, they need this guy to get rolling if they want to have any chance of even making this a game. Jalen Coleman lands was scoreless in the first half, and right on cue, he's got a three.
Ted, you talked him into that one. He heard you from over there. You definitely talked him into that one.
Sixth-year senior Coleman lands from Indianapolis, started his career at DePaul. Beg your pardon, started his career at Illinois as PV draws the foul. Then at DePaul for 3 years, and now his... You would think would be his final year at Iowa State, but he could come back for a 7th.
Jalen Coleman lands pushing to be the oldest player to ever play in the college basketball game. Because he came out with me in 2015.
Yep.
Because I'm 24. He's the same age. We're both the same age, so he's pushing the limit of. There has to be a record for that. He has to be like top 3 oldest basketball players to ever play in college.
Yeah, check with BYU about that. Peavy is called for the foul here, trying to stay in front of Trey Jackson. So let's flash back. You mentioned the class of 2015. Look at how young you are. Look at how young Jalen Coleman-Lands looks. And yes, Paul Biancardi ranked Jalen Coleman-Lands ahead of you in the ESPN 100, 34 compared to 36. You guys both produced in college.
Hey, he had a great career. I had a solid career at Baylor. But shout out to him. He's done his thing. He's been able to adapt to multiple systems, multiple programs, and he's at his final one, hopefully.
He told us today he hopes that's the case. He wants to be able to shoot it efficiently, play defense, and be a pro somewhere, whether it be overseas or certainly in the NBA next year. He's shooting it at a 40% clip from three.
That's impressive, but I think what's most impressive about him is his nonprofit that he started. He started his own nonprofit organization called Fingerprint to raise awareness for social justice and different type of problems we see in the world, because he wants to be one of those people who can have a voice and make change. And anybody who can be a change agent in a sense is somebody who you got to show respect to.
Amen. Marcus Santos Silva was in foul trouble in the first half. That one didn't drop. Kind of like what Kyler Edwards has helped do for Texas Tech.
Yeah,
finding his voice, initiating the conversation about social justice and many other important issues that have not been discussed enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, especially in the world we live in today. We see people bombarding the Capitol and everything that's going on in the world. Not to get political, but, enough is enough. It has to be justice and equality and unity, and that's what these teams are continuously preaching.
Yeah, Edwards came up with the idea for the rotten apple core patch that they wear, describing that the elements of racism, sexism, whatever it may be, they're bad apples, and they need to be taken out of society. Really a creative way to frame that conversation. McCullough with the fancy move, and he lays it in.
He's like he's hobbling a little bit, but that's an impressive play.
Yeah, you see the grimace on his face. Again, guy who's been plagued by injury throughout his college career.
Kevin McCullough. Big body, big boy, grown man move. Get out my way, little boy. Kevin McCullough. Hope he's okay.
Had a high ankle sprain that bothered him early this season. Broke his leg in high school, and that's a horrible sight.
Yeah, you hate to see it, especially a kid like him, a great kid, and hate to see injuries to happen to anybody, honestly.
Jackson way off for Iowa State. Now for McCullough, this is just his 4th game of the season, coming back from that high ankle sprain. Foul called on Jalen Coleman-Lands of Iowa State. That's his 3rd. By the way, I tried to get Paul to change your ranking to move you ahead of Jalen Coleman-Lands for this game, but he says, Ted, I can't do that. If I do it for King, if I go back 6 years and change somebody's ranking, I'm going to have to do it for everyone.
Man, shout out to Paul Biancardi.
Oh, shout out to Marcus Santos Silva with the jam.
What a great pass right there from Terrence Schickman. Oh.
Deflected by Edwards. Out of bounds. It'll stay at this end. Back to Shannon setting up his teammate.
He does it all. He doesn't care about scoring, doesn't care about playing time. He just wants to win. And right there, that's a winning play. Draws 2, kicks to the big fella, slam.
Santos Silva, the preseason Big 12 newcomer of the year. Transferred from VCU, the only senior on the roster, and now the steal for Santos Silva. Now post touch against Young, finding Shannon on the perimeter. Off the jab. That 2 doesn't fall. Santos Silva pulls it down. The foul is called on Solomon Young. Yeah, Santos Silva giving Texas Tech the experience that they want. Chris Beard talks about it. We want to get old and stay old in this program, and they have thrived in the transfer market in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, they understand the key to winning in college basketball, you know. I think we're getting away from the days where 18-year-olds can win you national championships. It's all about experience and seasoned veterans, and Chris Beard learned that before almost anybody else.
Off the steal, Shannon ahead to Edwards for two more. Texas Tech is running Iowa State out of the gym here in Ames.
And just look at the difference in energies, man. Texas Tech screaming, talking up and down on the whole bench is standing up right now. Iowa State just doesn't have that energy right now.
And that's something that Chris Beard talked about this morning. You have to manufacture your own energy when you're in a building that has only 1,000 fans. They have done that here today. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball. Emmerich, King McClure, our entire crew in Ames. Red Raiders taking it to Iowa State here early in the second half. We take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch and a pair of Big 12 standouts. King, one of your former teammates there at Baylor, Jared Butler, who had 28 today in a win over TCU. Cade Cunningham of Oklahoma State, who you can see following our game. Oklahoma State, Kansas State here on ESPN2. Of course, probably the #1 pick in the draft later this year.
Yeah, two guys that are like little brothers to me. Jared Butler, my son, and Cade Cunningham, who played on the same AU team as me. Yeah, he's much younger. So he's on the younger team, but I watched his development and definitely had a lot of conversations trying to help him. So two guys who have the utmost potential and will probably see on the NBA for sure.
Your son, only you and his parents can call him that, right?
I helped raise that young man.
Well, Baylor is thankful for that. What an outing that was against TCU in Fort Worth. Baylor pulling away in the second half. And I just wish that we could have seen Baylor and Gonzaga. I hope that they do schedule that game as we get deeper and deeper into the season. It seems more and more unlikely as Johnson comes away with the steal for Iowa State and he finger rolls it in. But we lost out on Baylor, Texas early. Obviously that game will be made up, Big 12 game, but that Baylor-Gonzaga game, I want to see them play.
Yeah, I mean, two of the top teams in the country, and a lot of people say Gonzaga's #1. And the consensus #1, basically, nobody's even close. But, I mean, to me personally, my non-biased opinion, I think that the biggest difference is that Gonzaga's had more times to display their talent on a national stage because Baylor, due to COVID, they had so many games canceled.
Right. Which
were going to be marquee big games where they could have displayed the same thing that Gonzaga showed. But I mean, we'll see. It'll all come down to the tournament, and whatever happens there, we'll see who's better.
Yeah, right. It wasn't just the Gonzaga game. Baylor also lost a game against Seton Hall very early.
Villanova.
Yep, absolutely. PB off the steal. Jamarius Burton banks it in.
Man, Iowa State looks like they're ready to go home. They don't even want to be here anymore.
They are home. They just want to go back to the apartment. Now there's Rasir Bolton off the glass. Bolton, Iowa State's leading scorer on the season, now with 8 points today. Burton probing, has Young on the switch, and he nails the jumper over the big man.
Up the mid-range killer, Jamarius Burton. That's what he does.
Well, Burton is seeing more minutes now with Namari Burnett leaving the program a couple of days ago. You wondered how that would shake out. And obviously everyone, you would imagine with the score being the way it is, everyone is going to get a little more playing time over the last 13 and a half minutes.
I mean, it honestly makes your team better because he's older and he's been there at Wichita State, dealt with that conference, dealt with college basketball before, so in a sense it makes your team better.
McCullough lost it. By the way, good to see McCullough back on the floor.
Most definitely.
After he seemed to get shaken up, but the foul is called. And Solomon Young will be at the line for 2 shots. Again, you look at the record on the screen. Iowa State 2-6. Yes, their only 2 wins have come against SWAC opponents. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Jackson State. 0-4 in the Big 12. But this is a surprising score. The way they played West Virginia, the way they played Baylor, and the way they played Texas in Austin on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, they normally play teams hard all the way down to about the last 3 or 4 minutes, but turnovers have kept them from getting over that hump. But this game, I guess it was just a lack of focus. I mean, they came out from the jump. Texas Tech brought it to them, and the schedule doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, just a brutal run of games for Iowa State, which did lose a couple of games themselves due to COVID protocols. A game against DePaul, a game against Chicago State. Marcus Santos Silva hammers it for Texas Tech. And so, yes, the gauntlet continues. The game against Kansas State, remember, they lost to Kansas State. King, you were on the call for that one. That's the game that really hurt. Offensive foul is called here on Javen Johnson.
That game hurts. I mean, that game really hurts because when you look at Kansas State, I mean, they lost to a D2 school this year. They lost to D2 school, and they had some very, very bad losses this year. Losses as a Big 12 school you should not have. That's the type of losses Kansas State has had, and I mean, that's just not what you're used to seeing. Like, this Iowa State team is not the Iowa State that I'm accustomed to when you had Georges Niang or Monte Morris or Taylor Horton Tucker. Like, you had some bucket getters, some elite dudes that were coming at you every single possession. And it'll be good for the Big 12 if Iowa State can get back to that caliber, but I guess only time will tell. Good rebound.
McCullough inside for Texas Tech. Always works so hard.
Yeah, this is good. I'm really happy for him, just dealing with everything he went through, able to be resilient. Happy for this kid.
Young backing it out against Santos Silva. Now attacks.
Oh, good move.
Off the spin. Just didn't drop. Peavy off the screen. Young knocked that out of his hands. And the foul will be called on Young. And we've got a timeout. Texas Tech in firm control.
Tostitos.
Oh.
Here in Ames, Iowa, we apologize for the technical difficulties we've been experiencing. Ted Emmerich, King McClure, our entire crew, appreciate you sticking with us. 18th ranked Texas Tech hammering Iowa State 70-44. Red Raiders shooting 60% from the field. They've got 3 players in double figures, led by Kyler Edwards, 18 points, and well on their way to moving above 500 in conference play. What's impressed you the most about Texas Tech so far, King?
It's the energy and the focus. I mean, you're up by 26 and you're still doing the same things. And Coach Beard is still coaching. Like just now, A.B. Benton, the walk-on, got a turnover because he didn't realize he's supposed to be stationary. Coach Beard walked over there and is yelling at him. Still coaching. He's a walk-on, number 1. Number 2, you're about 26. Does it really matter?
Right.
But Coach Beard coaches so hard and expects greatness from his players that those little things like that matter to him.
I mean, King, it's a word that is going to elicit eye rolls, but Chris Beard talks about it, Nick Saban talks about it, process, right? Be process-driven, don't be outcome-driven. So even though they're up 26, it's not like Beard is going to back off. Oh, we got this one. I don't need to coach my team anymore. Shannon drives in, draws the foul.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I'm one of those people, when you say trust the process, it's just like, oh, okay, like whatever, like, but it's real though. Like the process is a real thing that you have to go through if you want to experience greatness. And right now, Chris Beard knows his team is nowhere near the level that they should be at right now, but he knows that if he trusts the process, they can get there. And he actually compared this year's team to the national championship team that they had my senior year. And I thought that was very interesting, because he said around this time, they weren't that good. They weren't where they should have been. But then they hit a stretch where they got really, really good, and they won like 9 straight. So I think that trusting the process with this team is something that they have to do in order to reach the levels and the goals they want to reach.
It's funny you bring it up. I went back and looked at their season. 2019, of course, resulting in the national championship game, losing to Virginia in overtime. They were 5-4 in the Big 12 halfway through the conference season. They went 9-0 in the second half. And, of course, sparked them on their run in March. Oh, the block by McCullough. McClung out to Edwards. Watch out! And fouled from behind by Jaden Walker, who did not want to give up that highlight.
Did he get our ball right here? Good defense right there by Kevin McCullough. Good pass.
Did he get him with the body? I'm not sure. Tough from this angle.
Yeah, I think that was all ball.
Wow.
I disagree with that call. That's a clean block right there by the freshman.
You saw Walker immediately argue his case.
Yeah. I think he met him up top and got all ball.
Edwards splitting the pair, 19 points to lead all scorers for Texas Tech. Bolton, a straightaway three. That has been a rare sight today for Iowa State.
I think right now, Iowa State, you just play for pride. I mean, play for pride and try to get momentum going towards the next game, because 8 minutes left. It's very unlikely you win this ball game, but you at least get a little momentum to spark you for the next game so that this doesn't happen again.
McClung was trying to find a cutting Shannon. Out of bounds to Iowa State. Timeout. The rare mistake for Texas Tech here in Ames today. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Well, no contest here in Ames. Under 8 minutes to play. Texas Tech, the big lead over Iowa State. Rasir Bolton, leading scorer, leading assist man, leads the Cyclones in steals. Why does he wear the number 45? Well, it carries significance because he's honoring the memory of his friend Antonio Thomas Jr., who was shot and killed in May of 2018. Thomas was just 19 years old. Bolton says that Thomas was known as 9. That was his nickname. So 4 + 5 = 9. Bolton says, that was my big brother. He told me that I would make it. I play for him.
What a touching story. I mean, whenever you have something like that, it makes you want to play harder. It makes you want to go out there and you actually have something to live for, play for. It makes you want to take that extra step, go that extra mile.
Walker is called for the foul. Again, he thought he got all ball against Terrence Shannon this time, but the foul is called. Now Bolton from Petersburg, Virginia, transfer from Penn State. Last year, the complimentary piece next to Tyrese Halliburton, now taking over as the point guard with Halliburton in the NBA with the Kings. The numbers are good. He's been in a slump as of late, hasn't shot it all that well over the last 4 games, and has turned it over a little too often.
Yeah, I mean, the turnovers are one thing, but he really hasn't shot well from 3. I mean, that 3 he just shot earlier was his first 3 in 2 games. I mean, he hasn't made a 3 the last 2 games. He must be better if this team wants to even be competitive in the 12, because right now you're potentially going in 0-5 in conference play. I mean, you got to step up and get a dub. I mean, you can't go defeated in the Big 12 conference play.
Iowa State has not started 0-5 in the Big 12 since 2005. Funny enough, that year, they followed it with a 7-game winning streak. Young, count it, with a foul. Well, coming up tonight on ESPN, college basketball marathon continuing. Georgetown and Syracuse, the rivalry renewed. That's at 7 Eastern. Then UCLA and Arizona in Tucson at 9 Eastern. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. UCLA 4-0 in the Pac-12. Lost Chris Smith to that knee injury last week. But they beat Arizona State in overtime on Thursday night. Trying to beat Arizona.
Tiger Campbell is good.
Yes.
He can really hoop. Crazy hair, but he can hoop.
He goes from being 6 feet to 6'4" with the hair. Marcus Santos Silva with the hook for Texas Tech. Santos Silva was in foul trouble in the first half. He's got 6 points now. Bolton over Santos Silva. That doesn't drop. Now for Texas Tech, this is only their second true road game of the season, believe it or not. They beat Oklahoma 3 days before Christmas, game that went down to the final shot. This one will not go down to the final shot.
What if it did, though?
Yeah.
Like, how crazy would that be?
Right. I don't think so. McCullough, the turnaround, and a foul. Again, it looked bad for McCullough earlier this half when he was limping after making a play, went straight to the bench, but he came back in. He looks fine.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see it. I was one of his hosts on his visit when he came to Baylor.
Really?
Yeah, and he's boys with Tristan Clark. I think they might have went to the same high school. I
In
think
San
so.
Antonio?
San Antonio. I think they might have went to the same high school. Shout out to Tristan Clark, who had to end his career.
Yes.
That's a crazy story that breaks my heart. But shout out to him. He's doing his thing right now. And Kevin McCullough, I mean, you just love to see him on the court. We talked about it briefly early before the game. I think that's one of the things he plays for, because I think they were so close that he's playing in honor of Tristan, because Tristan had to end his career.
Well, you certainly know something about injuries, conditions that can shorten a career. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And McCullough himself, it certainly hasn't ended his career, but he's had to fight through injuries throughout his college career.
I mean, you can either sulk about it and complain, that, like, why is it happening to me? Or you can do something about it, accept it, and move on.
Bolton with the jumper for Iowa State. Now with 13 points. Here's McCullough, who does have a double-double today. 15 points and 11 boards. Peavy, he's working on that jumper. It's just not a weapon for him just yet.
But I think it can be. I think the reason why he's, very impressive to a lot of people is because he's versatile, especially on the defensive end. He can guard 1 through 4, and offense is going to come. I mean, you could teach somebody how to shoot the ball. You could teach somebody how to dribble. You could teach them skills, but the instincts, the athleticism, you can't teach. And he has things you can't teach.
Right, you can get with a shot doctor, right?
Yeah.
And improve in the offseason. It's not part of his game just yet, but there's a reason he was a top 40 national recruit, according to ESPN.
Yeah, there's a million people out there that can teach you how to dribble on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter if you want to go look up how to dribble. So, I mean, it's going to come, but he has the natural things that you just can't teach.
Peavy with 6 points and 3 assists here today, heading out. Here's Chibuzo Agbo, 23 in the black. Freshman who could see a little more time, as we mentioned. Amari Burnett leaving the program, along with Peavy making up the best recruiting class in Texas Tech basketball history. But Burnett deciding to leave, wasn't happy with his playing time. McClung, that bounces in. Mac McClung with 16 points, just above his season average.
All right, Ted, crazy comparison.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I think that Mac McClung reminds me of my teammate my senior year, Makai Mason. Now,
Why?
I think their ability to, one, create off the bounce, get to the mid-range, IQ, looking to score first and foremost. They're bucket getters. They're both similar as far as athleticism. Nobody really knows that Makai had a 40-inch vertical before his injuries, but he had a 40-inch vertical. So I think they're really similar, and it's not because they might look alike or whatever, but I think their games are just naturally similar. They even shoot the ball almost similar.
I've not heard that before. You hear a lot of comparisons with Mac McClung, right? Especially going back to his high school days where he went viral. That's interesting. I remember Mason at Yale, sorry to bring it up, beating Baylor in the tournament, right? But then, of course, doing work with the Bears as well. McClung, mid-range, that's pure.
Like that right there is a play that Makai Mason would have made.
Yes.
Get to the mid-range. I've seen it a million times. Get to the mid-range pull-up. That's what Makai Mason would do.
Timeout for Texas Tech with 3:27 to go.
Where?
3.5 to go in Ames. Texas Tech in command. Ted Emmerich, King McClure, our entire crew. Mac McClung with 18 points. The Georgetown transfer has been so efficient too. It's what Chris Beard has been emphasizing to him all year. He's 8 of 10 from the floor, including a 3. One of 3 Red Raiders in double figures. And now just playing out the string. Oh, Dudley Blackwell could not hammer home that lob from Tyler Harris for Iowa State. McClung has looked good, King. Kyler Edwards with 19 points. Kevin McCullough with his first career double-double. 15 points and 11 rebounds for Tech.
Hey, they were all clicking on one accord today. I mean, hope they can keep this going in conference and this just be the beginning of what is to come for this team.
Terrence Shannon drains the 3 as Micah Peavy looks on. It is a 30-point lead. Remember last time Texas Tech was here, February 22nd of last year, 87-57 was the final. Worst loss in Hilton Coliseum's 50-year history. 30-point margin now with 2:25 left. ESPN's 30-point lead for Chris Beard and number 18 Texas Tech with 2:25 left. Well, coming up here on ESPN2, a chance to see perhaps the number 1 pick in the NBA draft later this year. Freshman Cade Cunningham in Oklahoma State matching up with Kansas State, King.
Cade Cunningham is impressive. I think what is the most impressive thing is his ability to pass. But not just pass, but like pass while he's on the move. Be able to hit guys in their pocket on time, on target. And he's 6'7", a 6'7" true point guard. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, you see Mike Schmidt's evaluation of him as an NBA prospect. He checks all the boxes with his length, playing the point guard spot. Saw him the last 2 years at Montverde Academy, playing the very best at the high school level, along with Paul Biancardi. And just so impressive every time he stepped on the floor. He can also affect the game without scoring.
I mean, he shot the ball well this year. I think the next level is to shoot the ball not well, but like great. I think he needs to become a great shooter. I think that's the next level of his game, because I think he has all the tools as far as being able to pass, being able to score, but he's just not a great shooter. And I would like to see him become that, especially when the three-point line gets pushed back on the next level.
Sure. Jalen Coleman lands, known as a shooter. He hits with a foul. And a chance at a 4-point play as the freshman Vladislav Golden from Russia is called for the personal. Well, Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tuesday, number 6 Kansas takes on Cunningham and OSU. Then, next weekend, Iowa State. The Cyclones matching up with the Jayhawks in Lawrence. January 20th, check out Texas Tech and TCU. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 Now. So the 4-point play for Jalen Coleman lands. A little too late. Scoreless in the first half. 9 points here in the second half for the 6th-year senior, who is your age. By the way, you said 24. Like, could he be the oldest player in college basketball next year if he comes back for a 7th year at 25? Well, go ask BYU about that.
Man, there's no way I could be this age in college. I'd have been like,
you couldn't handle that?
Nah, get me out of here.
George Condit the 4th with the jumper. Why not?
Man, I'm too old to deal with it.
You're a grown man now.
Yeah, I'm grown. Like, I don't want to listen to anybody and be in the gym for a million hours. No, I want to come in, get my work done, and leave. Like, I don't want to do schoolwork. I don't want to listen to teachers. No way.
Like Cardale Jones. I remember him at Ohio State. Coleman lands with the 2. Avery Benson, the walk-on, had the 3 on the previous possession for Texas Tech. Well, Tech will move above 500 in Big 12 play. They have Texas and Baylor coming up, their next two. Whistle blows with 21.6. They will head to Austin Wednesday night, then at home against Baylor a week from today. Now, every team goes through a stretch like this, and Texas Tech, already top 20 in the country, will have a chance to prove themselves next week.
Yeah, this is really good for Kyler Edwards, in my opinion. Like, letting him come out here, play so well. Hopefully this can translate to the next stretch that they have, because he is the catalyst to this team, and he must step up if they want to beat either one of those teams.
Edwards with 19 points to lead all scorers. There he is, towel around the neck. And he can rest now. Final 15 seconds. Dudley Blackwell, the freshman, way off. And that'll do it. Now, Chris Beard of Texas Tech said earlier today, we are a work in progress. They progressed today on the road, an emphatic 91-64 victory over Iowa State here at Hilton Coliseum.
Red Raiders took care of business, came out, was focused, started at 8:30 in the morning, and it paid off.
91-64 the final. Kevin McCullough, first career double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds. Kyler Edwards with 19. Mac McClung had 18, and Tech is 3-2 in the Big 12. For King McClure and our entire crew, Ted Emmerich saying so long from Ames. Now to the studio, Dallin Cuff and John Crispin.